Okay, students, here we are today, and we're looking at metric capacity. And this is our introduction to metric capacity, which is sometimes known as volume, right? And volume or capacity is the amount that a container can hold, and it usually is the amount of liquid that a container can hold, right? So that's what we are talking about today in regards to the metric system. Now, in the standard or customary system, oftentimes we measure capacity with gallons or quarts or cups, but in the metric system, we use liters. And remember, most of the world and scientists use the metric system. So you need to understand what liters are. Okay. So the base unit of metric capacity is the liter. Okay. Many large soda bottles contain about 2 liters of liquid. That is a standard sized large soda bottle that you might buy for a party or for a family dinner, right? Um, Additionally, we also need to know what milliliters are, and that root word milli, right, means 1/1000th. So there are 1,000 milliliters, which equals 1 liter. So 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, right? And you can see that right here on this measuring cup, right? Over here is the liter, and here is 1,000 milliliters. That is the equivalent measurement. So a milliliter is much, much smaller, right? It takes 1,000 of them to equal 1 liter. A standard sized disposable water bottle is 500 milliliters of liquid. That's the general water bottle that you can find in the stores, 500 milliliters. So you would take 2 of those to make a liter. And then there's, of course, also such a thing as kiloliters because the metric system does repeat itself, but nobody really uses that, or it's not very commonly used in our everyday lives. So we're going to focus on liters and milliliters for this particular lesson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go ahead and see if we can fill out this chart. It works exactly the same way that things were working with metric length and metric mass, except this time we're dealing with capacity. So we're dealing with liters and milliliters. So if you remember earlier, 1 meter was equal to 1,000 millimeters. 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. Well, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. And to get from liters to milliliters, you multiply by 1,000. All right, so if 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters, then 2 liters equals 2 times 1,000. So you get 2,000 milliliters. Okay, and then if you're given a volume in milliliters, you have to divide by 1,000 in order to get it back to liters, because there has to be fewer liters to be the same amount as the milliliters, right? Because the liter is so much bigger. So we're going to divide by 1,000. When you divide by 1,000, 1,000 has 3 zeros. So you're going to take 3 zeros away, and you're going to end up with 4 liters, right? Same here, you have 6 liters. Now we have to multiply by 1,000 to figure out how many milliliters that is. So we add 3 zeros to it when we multiply by 1,000, and we get 6,000 milliliters. 8,000, divide that by 1,000, and you will get 8 liters, because you will remove these 3 zeros when you divide by 1,000. So therefore, 12,000 milliliters, 12,000 divided by 1,000, and you will get 12 liters. 12 liters, okay? And finally, 73 liters. Well, that's the same thing, right? You're going to multiply it by 1,000. Whenever you multiply by 1,000, you add 3 zeros to it. You move your decimal point 3 times, and you get 73,000 milliliters. So there you go. That's how we're going to fill out this chart. Sometimes you'll get some practice that does not involve a chart, in which case you have to look at what it's asking you for. Here they gave you the unit of liters, and they're asking for milliliters. So you're going to take your liters, and you're going to say, okay, I know 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. I have 5 liters, so I'm going to multiply 5 groups of 1,000. That's what multiplication is, and that gives you 5,000. And so that is your milliliters. That is equivalent to 5 liters, 5,000 milliliters. 9,000 milliliters, well, now if I'm trying to turn it into liters, and liters is larger, I need fewer liters, so I'm going to divide by 1,000, right? And whenever you divide by 1,000, you take away 3 zeros, because 1,000 has 3 zeros, and you get 9 liters. Last but not least, sometimes you might get a mixed unit that includes both liters and milliliters. Okay, so let's convert those liters into milliliters because that's what it's asking you for, and we'll add the milliliters back. So 8 times 1,000 will give you 8,000 milliliters. So 8 liters equals 8,000 milliliters. But we also have 45 here, right? So you take this 45 and you add it back, and you will get your milliliters. So you can see you get a 5 here, a 4 there, 0 to hold the place value, and an 8 there. So the answer is 8,045 milliliters. So that's how you convert from liters into milliliters or from milliliters back into liters. Okay, here's your challenge page. I will encourage you to go ahead and pause the video right now and try these problems without me. Okay, hopefully you paused and tried them out. Let's see how you did. So I'm going to start out here with 45 liters and 34 milliliters. And I want to change that into just milliliters. So I'm going to take my 45 and I'm going to multiply it by 1,000 because 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. And that's going to give me a number of 45,000. But that's not my answer because I can't forget about these 34 milliliters that I also have, right? So 45,000 equals 45 liters, 45,000 milliliters. But look at my ones and tens column. I'm going to substitute those in, and I'm going to get 45,034 milliliters. Okay, now take a look at this problem. It is a subtraction problem. But I have different units, right? I have 7 liters and 193 milliliters, and then I have 4,500 milliliters there. Well, I don't want to do that without converting them. So I can either change this into liters and milliliters, or I can change all of this into milliliters here. I could do it either way. So for this one, I'm going to say, okay, I know that 7 liters is 7 times 1,000, right? That's going to make it milliliters. So I'm going to end up with 7,193 milliliters. And now I can subtract 4,500 milliliters from that. Okay, and notice I'm using the unit of measurement. You got to write down what unit you converted it to. So I'm using milliliters here. All right, now I can subtract 3 minus 0. I've got 9 minus 0. Ooh, 1 minus 5. Can't do that. I'm going to have to borrow from this 7, make it a 6. Make this 1 and 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 6 minus 4, 2,693 milliliters is my answer. And I'm going to go ahead and circle that answer because it's a longer problem, and we should always probably circle our answers so the teacher can find it. Finally, over here, we have one more of those. This time it's an addition problem, so don't mix up your signs. But look, I have mixed unit here, and I have just milliliters here, so I have to convert one or the other. So I'm going to go ahead and convert. I like converting liters into milliliters. So I'm going to say this 2 liters here ends up being 2 times 1,000, and that'll give me milliliters. So I'm going to end up with 2,076 milliliters, right? And then I'm going to add to that 6,709 milliliters. Now you'll notice I switched the order of the numbers on this problem, but that doesn't really matter. You can do that in an addition problem. It doesn't matter which one is on the top or the bottom. That would matter in a subtraction problem, but not for this addition problem. So now I can go ahead and add. 6 plus 9 is 15. I'm going to carry that 1. And I'm going to say 1 plus 7 plus 0 is 8. And then I have a 0 plus 7 and a 2 plus 6. And I have 8,785 milliliters as my answer. And once again, I will go ahead and circle that answer. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I am hoping that you are understanding how liters and milliliters relate to each other. I am hoping that you will keep practicing. Remember, practice makes perfect, and nobody gets math the first time. So work hard at it and ask lots of questions in class. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.